This example is about box plots, or box and whisker diagrams. This one is about reading 200 tweets. We're told the greatest time is 1 minute 15 seconds, the range of times is 1 minute 5 seconds, the median is 50 seconds, the lower quartile is 22 seconds, and the interquartile range is 38 seconds. We first need to make sure everything is in the same unit as we would do with any other type of graph or diagram. So, as it's easier to work with larger numbers than maybe decimalized minutes, we are going to start by converting everything to seconds. 1 minute 15 seconds is 75 seconds, and 1 minute 5 seconds we know is 65 seconds. We then need to find a scale that goes from our highest value, our greatest time, to our least time. We've only been given our greatest time, but we're told the range is 1 minute and 5 seconds. So, to find our least time, we take the range from our highest value. So I need to do 75, take away 65, which is going to give me 10. So our least time is 10 seconds. As both our highest or greatest time and our least time are in the 5 times table, it's quite naturally to want to go up in 5s here. So starting at 0, as 10 isn't too far away from 0, if you were working with a much larger starting point, you may put a break here. So we're going to go from 0, and I'm going to stop at 80, 40, line in the middle here of our scale, 20, 60. By breaking it down like this, I know I'm drawing my scale correctly. And then halfway between each of those are our odd values. And then halfway between are our 5s. On tests and exams, you most often have graph paper for these types of questions, so drawing your scale is much easier than shown here. So, we now can draw our 2 peripheral ends of our whiskers, as we know our greatest and our least value that we have. So, my greatest value we know to be 75, so I find 75, and I'm going to draw a line here. And our least value we know is 10, so I'm going to mirror that here. For now, I can draw nothing else as I do not have any more information on my diagram. My median is the next thing I am told, and my median is 50 seconds. The median is simply drawn onto the diagram as it is that central, that middle line on our diagram. So my median sits at 50. Remember, the box is always slightly wider than the lines drawn at the highest and lowest values. Then I'm told my lower quartile is 22. So here I would draw my lower quartile, and my upper quartile we do not have, but I'm told the interquartile range. So as the interquartile range is the difference between the highest and the lowest, I can take the lowest value and I can add the interquartile range. Adding those together will give me a value of 60 for my upper quartile. I can then place that on my diagram. So far, I just have lines. Now I need to make sure it looks like a traditional box and whisker diagram with my whiskers and my box. This is the diagram complete with my lowest value, my highest value, my median, my lower quartile, and my upper quartile. I then need to address any questions relating to the diagram I've just drawn. The question I have here is how many of these tweets were read in more than 22 seconds? 22 seconds, we know, is here at our lower quartile. But remember what a lower quartile actually is. The lower quartile is our 25% mark. So if 22 were read, if 25% were read in 22 seconds, how many were read in more time than that? It would be what's left. So we know 100 take away 25 is 75. So we need to find 75% of our total. Now it's really important that you've read the question early on, as the first line tells us that this is all out of 200. So now I need to find 75% of 200, or remember quartile, quarter. The lower quartile is simply 1/4. The upper quartile is 3/4. The median, the middle, would be a half, but we've not been asked for that here. You can do this in a couple of ways. You can find 25% and times it by 3. You can take your value and divide it by 4, then times it by 3. Or if it is a number you are familiar with, you can simply use mental methods. So if I want to find 75% of 200, I need to find 3/4 of 200. So I'm going to do 200, I'm going to divide it by 4, and I'm going to times it by 3. In doing so, we are going to find 75%, or the amount that is read in more than 22 seconds. So I take 200, I divide by 4, which would give me 50. I then must remember to multiply by my numerator of 3. So my final answer is 150 tweets. As 150 of those tweets were read in more than 22 seconds. Be careful with the method for box plots. Make sure you revise it. Make sure you look through everything done here and in the notes.